Howdy. All right, thank you. So today we're gonna talk about chapter 8. Still, we're gonna talk about why do we help other people in more details. Do you have any questions regarding assignments or the semesters before we jump into the lecture? We good? Okay, very good. So, let's do a quick recap. Remember we talked about why we help others, and mainly there are three reasons. One is the social rewards, and the other one is the personal distress. The last one will be the empathetic concerns. Right. It's just like a refresher for you guys. So now let's do this activity together. Let's say you are on a boat that overturns. It contains your 5-year-old and your 1-year-old children. They're the same sex. The boat sinks and you can save only one. Which one would you choose? Five-year-old or 1-year-old? You can speak up.
There's no right answer.
No, there's no right answer. But if you're in the situation, who would you choose? Yeah.
So this is the one where you like can't beat around it, or like can't say you can't fit two people whatsoever.
No. Just like, let's say in this extreme situation, you have to pick one. Which one would you pick?
Okay, I guess if you're like close to shore, like thinking realistically, a 5-year-old would probably be able to know how to get to shore better.
Okay, so 5-year-old, you will pick.
Because they can know how to, at least a 1-year-old might not be able to recognize like us landing to get there, whereas a 5-year-old might be able to.
Yeah, very good.
I also feel like a 5-year-old would have their personality a little more developed, where the 1-year-old is still like an infant. So
Yeah.
the 5-year-old is like growing into it, like they can feel fear a little bit more, they can feel emotions a little bit better.
Okay, so you pick the 5-year-old too, right? Okay, because they're more likely to survive. They
Kind of
they
a better,
perceive,
like,
yeah, they perceive to have more feelings. They have a better understanding of what's going on. Yeah. Okay. Any other idea? Okay. All right. What about this? Same situation, but this time you have your 40-year-old and your 20-year-old children. Same sex. Which one would you choose to save? 40-year-old or 20-year-old? Yeah.
I guess I would choose a 20-year-old because since they have more life to live, I feel like they have more opportunities, so I'd save them.
Okay, so they have okay, yeah.
Well, can I ask, so in this case though, are we also assuming that the other one definitely dies?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're choosing one to live, one die.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I'd probably agree with the 20-year-old.
20? Okay.
Didn't need me to save them, yeah.
Why? Just feel like it?
Yeah, man, that's so hard to imagine. Like a 40-year-old and a 20-year-old neither which know how to swim. But like, but yeah, probably the 20-year-old just because they have more. But granted, like maybe the 40-year-old because like they might have kids and stuff. But the 20-year-old might just. I feel like the 40-year-old might be affecting more lives, so I might say the 40-year-old.
So wait, you say you're gonna save the 40-year-old or the 20-year-old?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, you don't know?
I said both, but I ended on the 40-year-old.
Okay. All right. Very good. What about this one? You're on vacation in a cabin in the woods with your brother, your brother's girlfriend, your aunt, and your cousin. You wake up in the middle of the night to find that the cabin is on fire and will soon collapse. Everyone's sleeping in separate rooms, and you only have time to warn one person. Which one do you warn? And we're not talking about any other like variables, like who lives closer to you or anything like that. Just think about as the brother's girlfriend, your aunt, or the cousin. Which one would you choose first?
Brother.
Brother? Okay. Any particular reason?
I mean, for me, and I'm assuming most people, like the people that are closely related to you, you're the most close with.
Okay.
And so, like, I'm the closest with my brother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When you say close, do you mean like emotionally close?
And like I see him most often.
Okay.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Okay, so you know them the best.
Yeah.
Okay, person know them. Okay. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I think that, I don't know, in some cases I would maybe save the brother's girlfriend. Mainly because I don't have a brother, but if I did, the people who I'm close to or like brothers to me, I care about, and I know that they would be willing to die for their girlfriend, and so I would, like, it's one of those things that I wouldn't want to live and have my brother be like, I wish you'd save my girlfriend, like, now I'm miss them and stuff. I just know that they would maybe want me to save their girlfriend.
Interesting. So, if you are the brother, and you have a brother, and you would rather your brother to save your girlfriend than you.
I wouldn't. Okay, yeah, I guess it's my choice. I would save my brother's girlfriend for my brother.
Okay.
Makes sense. But because I love my brother.
Yeah. So let's assume that you have the idea based on, because you don't have a brother, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's assume that you have this idea based on your scenario, and you base on your personal thoughts, experience. Would you rather your brother to save your girlfriend than you? That would be the question.
So if I had a girlfriend.
Yeah, if you had a girlfriend,
Yeah.
and in this situation, your brother can save either you or your girlfriend, which one would you prefer?
If it was, okay, not a girlfriend, if it was a wife, like if it was my wife, I'd rather
Okay.
save my wife. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
that's
so in this situation,
in this situation,
you would still save the girlfriend.
I'm thinking I'm like.
Interesting.
Yeah, trying to think of the people in my life.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
I kind of know what he's saying though, because like I have 3 brothers and I
Uh-huh.
don't want any of them to die. But
Uh-huh.
my oldest one got engaged, so I know for a fact like he would rather me save her than him.
Okay. So, you will agree to save the fiance?
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. Well, if online students, if you have any thoughts, just feel free to unmute yourself, and we can talk about this together. Okay, so we're good. Okay, so the reason that I asked you those questions is a lot of times when we help other people, it's due to kin selection. This is a tendency to help your genetic relatives first, so that your genes can pass on. When you make those decisions, you don't really think about whether my genes can pass on, right? But based on your response, like you said, the 5-year-old more likely to survive, right? Your genes might pass on, and the 1-year-old has more like change variables. You don't know if they're going to develop to a healthy children. You just don't know. So 5-year-old is more likely to pass your genes. Okay. Which one's the next? Oh, the 20-year-old and the 40-year-old. The 40-year-old, they might already have kids. You said that. So they already passed their genes. Their purpose in life is fulfilled. Well, in an evolutionary perspective. Of course, I'm not saying that after you have kids or after 40-year-old, you just like don't have purpose in life. But from an evolutionary perspective, you already passed your genes. But for the 20-year-old, they might not have kids yet. They're less likely to have kids. So people might choose the 20-year-old more than the 40-year-old. So the last one, brother or brother's girlfriend. Most people, if it's a life and death situation, they would choose their closest family members because they share the most genes. Also, I'm not saying that people make those decisions because they consciously thinking about this. Based on the evolutionary perspective, is that those kind of behaviors are just beneficial for survival or passed on your genes. And people are more likely to have offsprings that have the similar behavior pattern to survive, I guess, to nowadays. So those behaviors are kind of ingrained to our nature. It's not like we think about our genes when we make decisions. Does that make sense? Okay, very good. Right here. So this is also a type of social rewards. Again, we're talking about evolutionary perspective. So far, we haven't found any significant gender differences or cultural differences yet, which means that men and women, they are both more likely to save their kin than just some other people. Same with Asian culture and Western culture. So this happens more in the life or death situations, but less so in other situations. So they did this study. This is the graph, and on the y-axis is the tendency to help. So the higher means the more likely you're going to help that person. And this is the degree of relatedness. So it's either high, so there are your parents, your siblings, or your children, or it can be moderate, like your grandparents or your cousin. It can be low, your first cousins, or none, like just acquaintance. And the green bar is in life and death situations. For the blue bar is just other situations. They're not as extreme. So people found that when you have high relationship with the person, you're more likely to help them compared to other situations. Here, you're more likely to help them in non-life-threatening situations. And for your first cousins and acquaintance, there's no significant difference. So this is just a study to show people that they have a tendency to help their kin, right? Especially in life and death situations. Okay. The limitation for this hypothesis is that it doesn't explain when we try to help non-relatives. For example, when you said that you might help your brother's fiance or their girlfriend, it's not because of kin, right? So this hypothesis doesn't fully explain the reasons that we are helping other people. Okay. Oh, okay. And also, I forgot to mention, some people might argue this is just because you're more likely to be emotionally close to those people, to your kins, or you know them better. That's why you're more likely to help them. Yeah, of course, that's also possible. Again, there's no perfect study. It just helps us to figure out whether there's a trend or whether there's something that's interesting there. Okay, so let's do another question. Who would you rather help? Your brother who steals from you, your roommate who never returns the favor, your friend who tends to be obvious to what's going on, or your colleague who's likely to help you in the future? Colleague? And we're not talking about if you don't help them, they're gonna die. Normal situation. Yeah.
Probably my friend, just because they are my friend, so I help them.
Okay. Do you just agree with either one?
I mean, I would like to say, I love my roommates. I'd like to say that, but
Uh-huh.
honestly, probably the colleague.
Okay. Yeah. So let's say that you're spending equal amount of time and energy into this favor. So yeah, okay. So this is called the reciprocal altruism. We are more likely to help those who will help us back. You guys don't find that funny? I thought that was so funny. So this is also called the tit for tat strategy, and this is also a type of social rewards. Okay. And this follows the reciprocal norms. Do you guys remember what this is? It's pretty straightforward for a textbook. Someone want to tell me what the reciprocal norm is?
It reminds us that we should follow this.
Yeah. So it reminds you like you should follow when people help you, you should help other people's back. Right? Okay. Very good. Let's think from evolutionary perspective again. Why would this be? Why do you need to return a favor? Yeah.
I guess the benefit to society would be greater if everyone kept helping each other and furthering themselves.
Yeah. 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 So let's. I'm gonna change this. The way of asking. What happens when a person who doesn't return your favor? What would you do, or what would you feel?
You're less likely to help them again.
Yeah. So you're less likely to help them, and usually you don't like the person, right? Maybe not dislike, but there's a negative feelings towards them. So in ancient time, when other people help you and you don't help them back, you're less likely to survive. And that gene that makes you make the decision that you don't return a favor might just die off. It doesn't pass on, right? And then most people, so this is again, it's very like from a very broad perspective, that's why we're more like, most people are likely to follow them more. Okay. So can you think of any examples in life that is reciprocal altruism? It should be pretty common. Yeah.
I know, like for me and my 3 roommates, not all of us always have time to cook dinner. So
Uh-huh.
one of us will cook, but then whoever doesn't cook, the other 2 will do the dishes.
Okay. So doing the dishes is reciprocate to the food?
Like cooking, yeah.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Very good. Anything else? Nothing else? What about, I don't know if you guys do this study guide, like when you contribute to a study guide, the other people are more likely to contribute too. If they don't, you're less likely to share. That's reciprocate.
When
Yeah.
usually like if someone covers a meal, like if something
Oh,
on
mhm.
a wallet or this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They'll usually cover it, and then it's like, I mean, sometimes it's like, well, you'll get the next one, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But usually it can be just like, oh, I got you for this one, and then
Mhm.
people want to do
Mm-hmm.
it too.
Yeah, some people might argue that's like more like social exchange, but usually we don't really think about, oh, I covered this one, so next time you have to do this, right? So yeah, I agree. It's more of a reciprocal altruism. Very good, very good. So next we have the social exchange theory. That's suggesting we weigh the benefits and cost before we help other people. So if we think there's more benefits into this, and then we're more likely to help. If we think there's more cost, we're less likely to help the person. And this theory is suggesting that pure altruism doesn't exist. So they did a study, it's called the Blood on a Train study. They asked the Confederates. So in psychology, Confederate is not like the Confederate, but more like the people who's helping, who's with the experimenter. So Confederate, they pretend that they collapse on a train, and then if they have blood on them, people are less likely to help when there's no blood on them. Why is that?
Oh, because I guess if someone has blood on them, it's more likely that it's going to be like more tough. I mean, it's probably a more serious injury, and there's probably going to be a little more helping involved. And I would,
If they need more help, why would people less likely to help them? You go ahead.
People might not be sure what to do when they see blood, like, I don't know how to help.
Uh-huh.
Or this might be, they feel like, it's like a moment of panic of like, they're like, I'm not sure what to do in this moment because I'm panicking.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna pretend I didn't see it there.
Very good. Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if they're like alone and someone collapses and there's blood, then if someone like walked in, they could be accused of something they didn't do.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know if you guys, so different area has different culture. When I was in North Carolina, and that's when I first got here in high school. So in Asia, we're not afraid of blood, I guess. But here, people are more cautious with blood. When someone is injured on the basketball court, they don't just go help them. They're gonna wear gloves first and then go help the person. So it's, for me, I think they're more concerned about, could there be bacteria or anything that could be contagious in the blood, and people need to be more careful. And yeah, so that could be a reason people are less likely to help, because they saw the blood and they want to be careful. They don't want to touch the blood, or it's possible that they don't know what to do too, or they don't want to be accused of doing something. Sometimes it's if it's a more serious injuries, it's better to not move the person, right? Sometimes. So does this make sense? The blood, no blood? The main reason that I put this study here is because if people think there's more cost, they're likely to get contagious. They are less likely to help. Okay. All right. And next, we have the negative state relief hypothesis. This is pretty straightforward, which is suggesting that when we see someone in distress, it makes us feel bad. And that's why we help those people, or we help other people to eliminate our own negative feelings. Right. And this is kind of tying to the social exchange theory, like seeing someone else suffer, so you help to relieve the stress. Okay. No question on this, right? Okay. So we talked about the reasons why we help others. What about those people when they try to help because they're just nice and they're compassionate to the feelings of others? Do you guys know this person, Nicholas Winton? No? Okay, so he was a banker, and he supervised a rescue of 669 children, and mostly Jewish, from the Holocaust in the Czech, Slovenia. Do you guys know that country? Yeah. That's the one. I can't pronounce that. During World War II, so he did that. However, he never mentioned this to other people. And it was this one time his wife was cleaning up the room, and she found a booklet that has all the names of those children that he helped. He helped put them on a train and find families for those children in Britain. And that's when people find out about this, like he helped those people. And that's like 50 years later. he personally he didn't try to tell other people, yeah, I did this thing and I'm a good person. I should gain, I don't know, status or fame from this, right? So next I'm gonna show you a video so that you can see what's going on, and then you can tell me whether you think this is true altruism or could there be any reasons behind it.
Bridget's story came out by accident after this scrapbook surfaced after gathering dust for decades. Once it did, though, it set about a whole chain of incredible events. That's me before I left for England. But until 1988, I had no idea who had rescued me from all but certain death. It was this old man who had saved my life and that of hundreds of others in the Second World War. Yet for 50 years we knew nothing about him.
Before children. This is his scrapbook. There are all kinds of fascinating pictures in it. Perhaps you can see this is a picture of Nicholas Winton himself with one of the children he rescued. If you look at the very back of this scrapbook, fascinating things in it, all the letters. But back here is the list of all the children. This is Vera Diamond, now Vera Gissing. We did find her name on his list. Vera Gissing is with us here tonight. Hello, Vera. And I should tell you that you are actually sitting next to Nicholas Winton.
I wore this around my neck, and this is the actual pass that we were given to come to England. And I'm another of the children that you saved.
Can I ask, is there anyone in our audience tonight who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you stand up, please?
Pay attention to what he says at the end, and it kind of helps you to understand his perspective, his reason why he helps.
Everybody has to learn to live with everybody else, regardless of creed or religion.
I never thought what I did 7 years ago was going to have such a big impact as apparently it has. And if it has now got a story which helps people to live for the future, well, that will be an added bonus.
Alright, that's it. So do you think that was true altruism? Because when he did it, he said that, I don't know if you heard it, it's kind of mumbling. He said that he never thought there would be such a huge impact. You can also play devil's advocate if you don't think there's a true altruism here.
I mean, I feel like it was if he was saving those kids and he didn't think that, like, maybe all of them would survive, maybe no one would find out what he did, maybe it wouldn't be that big a deal. but like he still did it, and in that moment, like he still did save their lives.
Yeah, and it was very dangerous for him to do it too. Oh, by the way, that was a part from the BBC documentary. If you're interested, go watch that. It's pretty cool. People should know this story so that people help other people. Yeah, very good, very good. It's risky, but he still helped. He didn't mention what he did later on, so it could be true altruism. Any other opinions, thoughts? Nothing?
I would agree that it's true altruism. Like, he didn't necessarily get anything out of it. Like, he didn't need to help them. They weren't, like, it's not like one of those pictures right in front of him where he was, like, made feel guilty, you know? Like, he just decided to go do that.
Yeah.
And then he didn't try to get any credit for it.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying he doesn't even know the kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he helped them. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna just play devil's advocate here. So he knows that the children are suffering, and he knows that most likely the kids will be killed if he doesn't save them. Knowing that, and knowing that you can do something to help, but you didn't, you might feel guilty afterwards, right? I mean, in most cases, unless you're like a psychopath, sociopath. Yeah.
I feel like guilt can only carry you so far. Like you can, I could see if he saved like 10 kids because he felt guilty. I don't think guilt can cause you to put your life in danger that many times to save, what was it, 669 kids?
Yeah, very good. So, counter argument would be, you don't think guilt can be such a motive for him to risk his life and to spend so much money and time to do this, to save so many people, right? Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's advocate again. What if he started doing this and he feels responsible? For example, I help 10 person, and this 10 person is helped. Yeah, I feel good about it, but there are 500 more. If I don't help them, it's because of me for doing nothing. And I have this, I feel like this responsibility to do something. Do you think that sense of responsibility can be the reason that he's helping?
I could see like a small sense of responsibility, and I feel like it's more responsibility to do the right thing, which would still make it, I feel like, true altruism. It's not necessarily, like, I feel like everyone always has a responsibility to do the right thing.
Yeah, I'd like to think this is true altruism too. It's just a lot of theories and a lot of psychologists, they will argue, or philosophers, they will argue there's some underlying cause to this. Maybe the way that he was raised, that his parents told him, yeah, you need to help other people, otherwise, I don't know, you'll be a bad person. And that mentality is the reason that he's helping. It's not like, oh, I really feel for them. No, I'm just like trying to think from other people's perspectives. I'm not saying that's my thoughts. I also think that was a true altruism, and it's pretty touching, like the story. All right, so let's do a discussion. So sometimes people help others to gain fame. I don't know if you guys know this. So some people, they adopt kids from less developed countries, and they make YouTube videos about this. There was a incident. I think a year ago. It was this two parents, they adopted, I think it was a Chinese kid, I don't remember, it's an Asian kid. And they made a ton of videos about this kid. And they gained popularity, they gained money because people are watching, they got advertisements. But later, I think a year later, they decided to give the kid away because they said they couldn't deal with it. So that was a big topic. People thought that they were not responsible. They were helping because they wanted to make videos. Never really thought about the responsibility. I don't know if you guys heard about that news. No? If you're interested. Oh, okay. Thank you. So Elena says there is a line in the Bible that says to do your good works in secret. Could that play a part? They said they couldn't. Sorry, I can't type. They said they couldn't deal with it because the kid had autism. Yeah. So she knows about. So I guess when you adopt someone, it's a huge responsibility, right? If you know that you can't deal with autism, you should probably check before you adopt. Like do personality measurements to make sure it's gonna be a good fit to your family and all that. So, oh yeah.
It's kind of surprising because at least what I've seen from like families explaining their adoption story, when they go into like register to be adoptive parents or foster parents or whatever, they have this huge long, like 30-page long form they have to fill out. And some of them said it was really intense because they had to sit there with their partner and be like, is this a child that we can deal with? A child with behavioral problems, a child with autism, a child with... And if they couldn't handle it, they had to check the box saying we can't handle a child like that.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting because if they knew they couldn't deal with it, then they probably should have checked that box from the beginning.
Yeah, so I agree. The kid could have behavioral problems. They got abandoned. Like it's very likely that they had some kind of trauma. They travel from a whole different country to a new country. It's gonna be culture shock, or it's just like so many changes. It can make them to behave not normal or less normal. I can't find a better term to describe it, but yeah, adoption, it takes a long process. You gotta do like if you have adopted animals, you know that's a very complicated, a long process. So it's even so for human, right? Okay, so they're helping people, but the intention might not be like helping people. But also, sometimes we have people who try to help. The intention is good, but it end up causing harm to other people. So this is Black Lives Matter. Some of the protests, they turn into violent, and people think they're helping black people to voice up, to seek justice and equality. However, they're harming other innocent people, like they're destroying people's stores, people's property like cars. Yes, they draw attention from other people, but they also cause harm to some other people. Maybe their intention is good, but the result is not as perfect, I guess. It's not what you wanted. Okay, so my question is, which one is more important? Is it the intention to help or the result? So for that, some people might argue, some people adopt kids because they want like fame, they want popularity, or they think it makes them look good in the community, but they actually help the kid, right? The kid was in a better environment. They have better living situations. So they did end up helping the kid, but the intention might not be as pure, I guess. Do they matter? Like, do intention or results matter? Yeah.
I think your intentions influence your results, but they don't determine your results.
Yeah. So which one do you think is more important? Let's say when you see this behavior, do you care about the intention or do you care more about the results?
I would say it depends on the situation, but for
Mhm.
the most parts, results would
Mhm.
probably be more the, like, in thinking generally.
Yeah.
Like, say if a person, like, is in court because they're, like, involved in, like, they hit a person with their car, and they'd be like, I didn't mean to hit a person with my car, but you're like, well, you're texting and driving, you probably didn't mean to hit that person, but you did.
Mhm.
Like, that was the result of
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
And so, like, their intention wasn't to harm anyone by texting and driving.
Uh-huh.
They did. That was the result.
Yeah. So you're using a different example to. Okay. What about? Can you think of any example that's about helping other people and then it end up badly?
Sometimes, like, I would say, like, with like, sometimes, like, especially with America or just, like, wealthy countries, we try to help, like, less developed countries.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, ends up doing more harm than good because we don't understand cultural, like, differences. Or, like, we go in and, like, after, like, disaster strikes, we're just trying to go in and, like, sometimes you see, like, medical missions or stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, we'll go and try and with the intention to help, but it ends up causing more harm.
Okay. And so you think results is more important?
I would say, like, the intention is, like, right there.
Uh-huh.
But, like, you should, I don't know how to go with that. But I'd say, like, they both matter, but, like,
Uh-huh.
you should know both.
Okay.
But you should know that, like, there's harm coming from that, and you should.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you a more extreme example for you to think about. Someone who's depressed, and this person wants to kill themselves, but I don't know, for some reasons they can't. So they ask another person to help, and the person wants to help the person, so they help them to commit suicide. The intention is to help the person, but the result is I want to say it's negative in general, based on our morals, most people's moral foundation. It's negative. What do you think? Yeah.
I think if you're actually trying to help the person, then you should have gone about it in a different way.
So there are better ways to help the person,
Much
but their intention is good.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in that case, it would just be someone who's not smart in any way. You know, who just thinks that this person's genuinely coming to them for help, and they come like, okay. But no, yeah, I think results. I think, but I don't know. I'm sure people have said this. I think both matter, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's no way that. I don't think there's any way that you can go around the other two and not hold people responsible.
Okay. Yeah.
That's actually happened before too. There was a court case where a girlfriend
Mm-hmm.
basically convinced and pushed her boyfriend to kill himself,
Mm.
and she served time for that.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
There was, I watched a clip in my AP Psych class about assisted suicide, and we were talking about altruism at the same time. But there was a huge debate in, I want to say it was the UK, about this, because they gave 2 or 3 extreme examples. There was a person who had severe depression, like some of the worst doctors I've ever seen. They tried every therapy technique they could, all kinds of electro things with their brain. They tried electrodes, they tried medication, and nothing ever worked, and they just could not get her depression under control. And so she was just like sort of suffering in her own mind. And so they bring up the point that if it gets to the point where even medical doctors can't even help anymore, is it right to, like assisted suicide?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, in some European country, they allow the doctor to help the patient to commit suicide by injecting stuff, but it's illegal in most countries. So there's a huge debate. It's whether that's helping them or.
Yeah, whether it's depression or even they said things like severe cases of
Mhm.
cancer where they're really, really suffering and in pain every
Yeah.
single day of their life.
Yeah.
But they're not like brain dead.
Mhm.
Like, is it right to let them continue suffering when there is no hope for them?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So there's no correct answers here. Again, it's just something to think about when we make decisions, when we do things. It might be best to think thoroughly. I personally think the results could be more important. Sometimes, you're donating because you want fame, but you did help those people. Those people don't care about, is it because you want fame or not? It's more about, I got fed tonight. So this is my personal opinion. I guess they're more important, but I care less about the intention. For some people, based on their moral foundation, they will think intention is everything. That's also not wrong. It's very subjective. So.
Would that be like also like just the case with like every doctor? 'Cause like a lot of doctors, especially in America, are in the profession for money sometimes.
I didn't know that, but okay, continue.
Because like some doctors, like especially like if you're in like a high risk specialty, like a lot of them do want to help people, but a lot of them are aware like makes like $200,000 per year. And so like, but you are helping people in the end. So like, even though a lot of doctors like want to desire to help people, there's some people in the profession just for money. In the end, they're still saving lives. So does it really matter whether they like care or not? They're still saving a patient's life in the end.
Yeah, that would be a very good example to support my opinion. But yeah, very good, very good. Okay, we have like 3 minutes left. So can someone teach me about the Macbeth effect? Yeah.
Isn't that the one where guilty people like washing their hands?
Yes. So people who did something wrong, they feel guilt. They're more likely to physically wash their hands. They feel like that cleans their sin or something. So very good. So this is a type of embodiment, or we call it the embodied cognition. This is when our cognition is connected to our physical body. One example would be the pen in the mouth paradigm. Do you remember that? You holding the pen with the teeth or the lips, it influences your feelings, your cognition. So it happens very often. You feel like washing your hands helps you feel better, less guilt. So that's a type of embodiment. However, we found the replication fails sometimes in some studies too. So take these findings. So when you use it, I guess, just be careful. It's not like it doesn't work all the time. When you feel guilt, when you actually wash your hands, it might not help. Just know that. Okay. I just thought it was pretty interesting for this effect. And any questions? You good? All right. That's it. Thank you, guys. Oh, I forgot. So last time I was gonna give out extra credits, but when I downloaded the spreadsheet, it was 16 people. 1% short. I mean, 1% extra. If it's 15 people, I'll give you extra credit. I'm gonna download the attendance sheet today, and I'll let you guys know.
Thank you.
Thank you.